Sky 99.5 FM. Inform, inspire, empower. You're on Route 4 to 7 with Marcus, Mr. TM Romero, and Khadija Glasgow on Sky 99.5 FM.
So we're back. We're back on the inside. It's 5:47 p.m. Of course, your news comes up at 6 on the button. Speaking with, of course, our parents,
and we just
mothers.
we're gonna jump right back into it.
Let's remind the audience, we're speaking to Sandra Romero and Charen Glasgow, on the all-new Sky 99.5
the mothers
FM.
of Marcus Romero and Khadija Glasgow.
Yeah. So jump in.
So we're gonna jump right back into the how do you plan for your children?
Okay, well, I went about planning together with my husband for my children by providing all the things that you think, all the physical things.
Right.
But of course, sometimes plans change.
Right.
However, my focus didn't change. The plans were still the same. When I was a teenager, I used to daydream about my children doing things to satisfy the world. The purpose must be international.
Wow.
So I always sort of geared, and even when plans change and the focus remained the same. So I always, as Sandra said, I looked at what they gravitated towards, what they love to do. And of course, my daughter, who is now an architect in the US, she used to scroll all over the wall. My entire home, all the walls used to be crayons and pencil and anything she could get her hands on.
Right.
And my father would come to visit and he would say, but why have the child marking up the walls so, girl? And I would say, well, okay, so you would give her paper. So I would get scrap and all that because she always drawing. And she would draw on the paper and then go to the walls.
Paper wasn't enough.
Paper wasn't enough.
Yeah.
But don't talk about Khadija. I always give people the story about my center table, which split in two because she was always on a stage with a calendar, with a page, anything she could fold into a mic.
Right.
Right. She would be, and of course my center table was center stage.
Right.
Right? So, my son, Kobe, and he wants to do MedSci. He's still in high school. Kobe, good evening. I know you're probably not listening because you're watching football, but he wants to be a sport. He wants to do sports medicine and he wants to play pro football. He's always playing football. And from a toddler, he loved dolls, like whether it be action dolls, whatever dolls, and they always line up on the bed. And he's always attending to them. So I know the direction he's heading.
Medics.
Right? And no matter how much you tell him, well, you're a brilliant boy, you could do almost anything you want to do.
He's a sports medic.
You, sports medicine. And that's it. So I'm planning for that route.
Nice.
Right? And I'm certain he's also going to get a scholarship. It's already lined up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we continue praying. And even when you plan, you have to pray. Because even when plans have to change, your focus must remain the same. Your methods.
Right.
Your methods of accomplishing, because as I said, I had economic challenges and I had to find methods. And I was determined to have things happen. So when you have a child like Khadija who would go internationally to work,
right?
Because I remember, and I used to tell him, I said, well, mommy money's small, so you will have to look for freeness. And freeness would mean scholarships and things like that.
Right.
And thank God, and you pray and you put it before God.
Yeah.
And of course, in anything you do, I always tell them, don't ever forget where you came from, and don't ever do things just for economic benefit.
And vainglory.
Make sure you're walking in your purpose. Make sure you understand what your purpose is, because there are some of us as mothers who do not understand our purpose. And it is important for you to understand your purpose before you could offer guidance.
Yeah.
Right? So that's how I go about planning, and I put the plans in the hands of the master, and he runs with it.
I think the same way you trust God for yourself, you should trust God for your children as well.
Yes, you're so right, Marcus.
So, mommy, final words.
Yeah.
Any final things you want to share with probably the young mothers? Maybe mothers going through a little challenge right now. Maybe mothers just want to get some advice.
To the mothers who, might be going through a little challenge right now, I just want to, advise them, stay close to God. Trust God with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding.
Exactly.
The Bible tells us, when we trust Him and we put our all in Him,
Right.
He is faithful and just. The Lord, our God, the Lord will never leave nor forsake us. So sometimes you might feel lonely. Sometimes you might think that, we have to do this all by ourselves. But that is just, it's just a thought.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a God who's bigger than that.
Amen. Amen.
And for those with the husbands around, with the fathers around, spend time praying with the daddies for the children.
Yeah.
Spend time in prayer, because the time we're living in, it's getting darker and darker and darker. So we need so much more prayer than when my children were babies. Now it's a different time.
Yeah.
From day one, you spend time covering them with the blood of Jesus. Spend time teaching the word. Spend time praying for them. And for the single mothers out there, don't feel alone. God has a plan for your child, for you. Just spend that time in God, trying to seek His face and seek His plan for your child. God has a purpose for each one of us, big, small, mommy, baby, everyone. So just try to look towards God and seek what is that God have us here for.
Yeah,
What is the
indeed.
reason we are going through what we are going through right now? Don't take it as a disadvantage, but see it as an advantage.
Yeah.
As I always tell people, like mothers, who might come to me and try to share something with me, I always tell them, after every dark cloud, there's a silver lining. So don't look at the dark cloud. Look towards the silver lining.
That's a greater day ahead.
There's a greater day ahead.
Awesome moms, Key. Awesome
Yes.
moms.
Awesome moms. Closing words, mommy.
So I would basically say the same thing in that with the only way I would differ is to tell you that I know the enemy is reigning right now, and what I would tell you is, no matter what the enemy may throw at you, you remain focused,
Yeah.
right? Remain focused. You hold on, right? Particularly for your children, you hold on and you talk to God, right? You talk to God and you literally smile at the storm and keep encouraging your children, right? And all will be well. Keep loving them even when they're not doing all the best things.
Right.
Despite,
Love them despite.
keep loving them and don't love them from a distance. Let them know that you love them, right? And all will be well.
Another thing is, I like to tell parents who let your life be an example.
Yeah.
Don't let your children, they must look to you
Yeah.
for that, for that light.
That blueprint to follow.
That blueprint to follow, let them go outside and look at their friends, parents, how they live, and their friends,
Yes.
Let your life be that living example.
Indeed, and fine
Great
examples we
advice.
have.
Yes, great examples and great advice. So let me say a special good afternoon again to our first-time moms and all mothers.
Yes, and of course,
All mothers.
very special thank you to Mommy Charen Glasgow and Mommy Sandra Romero.
Welcome.
Really, really a pleasure having you in the sky this
It's a
afternoon.
privilege. It's
We
a
love
privilege.
you.
Yeah, we love you.
We love you.
Yeah, and,
You too.
and we love mounting up like eagles in the
Yes,
sky.
in the sky. Sky 99.5 FM, you're inside Route 4 to 7. News is coming up next.
News is coming up next. So you're here with Marcus Romero and Khadija Glasgow. Stay with us.
Get the breaking news and social updates now on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Search Sky 995 FM.